and this is a video which is long overdue, and I've been trying to make this video for a long time now. And this video covers a lot of important topics that we have just been following traditionally without any backing to it, and sometimes they may have even been wrong, and some of these practices that we are doing might even turn out to be good, but anyway, we are going to be discussing about that. So in this video we are going to be taking a look on the anabolic window that you have after the workout. So how quickly after the workout are you supposed to go and consume your protein, or is it that if you don't consume your protein you're going to become catabolic, or do you have to carry a whey protein shake with you to the gym? So all that, and the other part of the video is how much protein are you supposed to be consuming to see results. When I mean by results, I mean muscle building and at the same time fat loss. So how much proteins are you supposed to be taking to achieve both of these? And again guys, all of this is backed by science. I have a lot of studies right here for you guys, so I'm going to put it up on the screen as we go further. So to begin with, let's talk about protein timing. A lot of us think that we are supposed to have proteins immediately after our workout. Like it's supposed to be very quick, and if we don't have protein, we think that we are going to become catabolic. But however, this is not the case, and this is not what happens. So I see a lot of you guys jumping to your protein shake as soon as you finish your workout, but at the same time you don't have to do that. You can still be calm and relaxed, and even if you don't drink your protein shake to the gym, you can always go back home and drink it or eat your protein. Okay, so it's not something that has to be really closely monitored, because according to this study, which involves Brad Schofield and Alan Aragon, who are like two of my favorite people, so we know that this study is legit. Okay, so this study is called as pre versus post exercise protein intake has similar effects on muscular adaptations. So I'm going to put the study on the screen. Now the purpose of the study was to find out if the anabolic window that we talk about really exists. The anabolic window that you need to go and jump your protein and have your protein shake as soon as you're done with the workout. So this study discusses if that anabolic window really exists or not. And having done a lot of tests on people, they have found out that there was no such narrow anabolic window that we think. Now in this study, what they did was that they had two groups of people. So one group of people had a pre-workout protein shake, meaning 25 grams of protein and 1 gram of carbohydrate before the workout, and the other group of people had 25 grams of protein and 1 gram of carbohydrate post-workout. Okay, immediately after post-workout and immediately pre-workout. And over a period of time, it was found out that there were no changes in these two people. So these two people did not have any differences. They all progressed in the same way, and the group that immediately drank their post-workout did not actually have any upper edge. But again, I will come back to this later and tell you why you need to immediately consume proteins after the workout, which may not be scientifically backed on a paper, but it is just more logical for us Indians especially. Okay, so again guys, so the concept of this anabolic window is overlooked, and it is not just this small window that you need to immediately jump to your protein shake. So this window might be for several hours, and you are still safe if you don't consume protein for 1 or 2 hours. And what really matters is your daily protein intake. What really matters is how much proteins that you eat throughout the entire day, and that is what brings out the longevity, because just jumping to your protein shake immediately after post-workout, having 25 grams of protein and then neglecting your protein for the entire day is not going to help you to achieve anything. And the second thing that you need to understand is that you can only ingest some amount of proteins at one point of time. So if you're going to sit down and eat 100 grams of protein at the same time, it doesn't seem logical, because your body will not be able to digest 100 grams of proteins. But some people say that you can only have 20 grams of protein per meal. Some people say that you can have only 30 grams of protein per meal, or 50 grams. Again, this is something very vague. You cannot determine how much proteins your body can ingest, because this depends on a lot of other factors. Now if you take the second study is actually an article written on PubMed. So it says that is there any maximum upper limit of protein that you can consume? So I'm putting the study on the screen, and I'm also linking all of the studies down in the description box. According to this study, there is no practical upper limit to the anabolic response to protein or amino acid intake in the context of a meal, which means that there is no upper limit, that you can only have this much amount of proteins per meal, or you can only have if you have more than this, then your body is not going to absorb. So this depends from people to people, and there is no generic number. Some of the things that influence this number, so some of the things that influence how much protein can you have per meal depends on your training age, depends on your body's metabolism, and depends on your experience. Okay, so if you're someone who's been consuming protein for a long period of time, who's been training for almost 8, 9, 10 years, and you have been consistently doing this, then definitely the amount of muscle mass that you have is higher, and your body is going to be used to absorbing more protein compared to a beginner who's just getting into the gym, who's just started weight training. Obviously his body won't be able to handle as much amount of protein as what your body will. But at the same time, keep a baseline, don't go wild. There's no point in eating like 80-90 grams of protein per meal, right? So keep it safe. Probably, somewhere between 30 to 50 is always a safe zone. If you don't know what your body is, then keep it between 30 to 50, okay? But if you know what it is, then obviously you might go a little bit higher or lower depending on what you do. Though your protein timing after workout does not matter and the anabolic window is for several hours, but if you think about it, there is nothing that can go wrong if you immediately have a protein shake. And when I say immediately, I mean in a span of 1 hour post-workout, okay? Because there are papers and there are studies that say that might suggest, even though that I'm not, really inclined towards them, but there has not been one study that says that consuming proteins is a bad thing after workout. So if there is no harm in doing it, you might as well do it, and maybe if you see any benefits, it will help you. But however, consuming proteins immediately after workout is more of a logical thing to do, because this helps you to put things in perspective. And sometimes as Indians, we have problems eating our protein because we are not a country that is rich in proteins. We never have proteins, okay? So if you see our culture and if you see the foods that we eat, all our foods are high in carbohydrates, maybe lower in fats in some areas, good in fibers, good in minerals, vitamins, but we lack basic protein. If you take our protein intake daily, if you take an average Indian family eating their meals, their protein intake is going to be really low. So our body generally is not capable of handling a lot of protein at the same time. So it is always better for us to split our protein intake. And having a supplement like a whey protein makes it easier on our body to ingest the protein, okay? So let's say you have a whey protein shake after workout. When you're hungry, a protein shake like the Type 90 by Daki. I know I'm just inserting this here, but because I know it's a good brand and it's a really good protein shake. So for example, let's take the Daki Type 90 for example. So this supplement has around 27 grams of protein per scoop, and the scoop is just around 30 to 32 grams. Now the Type 90 by Daki is an isolate and a hydrostate blend, so which means that it's a really fast absorbing protein, and it makes it easier for your stomach to ingest, and at the same time it won't make you heavy. So there are some protein shakes like probably casein which is really thick and it makes it hard for you to ingest. It takes long time for you to ingest and it keeps you full. But if you take something like the Type 90, which is more of an isolate and the hydrostate blend, it makes it more light for you. So when you get back home, you still have the feeling of being hungry and eat more protein. So this is something that I personally experience, and a lot of my clients do too. We are not used to eating protein. Protein is very hard for us to put in our mouth, okay? So having 200 grams of chicken is hard for an Indian than someone in another country. So we need to split our protein intake accordingly, because we can't have a lot of protein in one sitting, and at the same time we can't be full, or we won't be able to eat our other protein meals. So it is easier for us to have a supplement which will do this for us. At the same time, it also gives you the upper edge, higher protein source which is more easily bioavailable. So this is where a supplement comes into play. Now there is another study to help us find out how much proteins are we supposed to have on an entire day. Is a high protein diet better or a moderate protein diet better? Okay, so this study is called as a short-term effect of high versus moderate protein intake on recovery after strength training in resistance trained individuals. If you look at this study concludes that there has not been a lot of difference between two groups of people who consumed high protein and moderate protein. When I say moderate protein, here they mean around 1.8 grams per kg of body weight, and the high protein is definitely more than that. So there is not any significant difference between these two groups of people. So if there is no any significant difference, why are you putting yourself through stress in eating higher amount of protein when you can actually have eaten carbohydrates for that, and which gives you energy more easily, right? So always high protein is not the solution, and high protein is not going to get you results all the time. Yes, your protein intake needs to be high, but not too high. Okay, so a good number for this is somewhere between 1.5 to 2.3 or 2.4 grams per pound of per kg of body weight. Okay, I'm putting it on the screen. Now this depends on again your training age. If you're someone who's experienced, if you're someone who has a lot of muscle mass, and if your intensity is very high, then you might want to stick to the higher end of this number. And if you're someone who's just beginning, who's just getting into weightlifting, and who's not too fatigued, whose intensity is really low, then you might want to stick to the lower end of this number. And again, make sure you add a lot of sources of protein into your diet. Don't just stick to one source of protein. Okay, have a lot of proteins like whey, chicken, fish, eggs, all of these things together. And the second thing is, one more advantage that a protein supplement has on us Indians especially is that we have a lot of vegetarians in this country, and it is always hard for vegetarians to get your proteins because all of the proteins have been grouped together with carbohydrates. So if you take any vegetarian source, most of the vegetarian sources, there are carbohydrates mixed in it. So a protein supplement like whey protein is going to give you an edge over that because you get 23 grams of only proteins. So this makes your caloric intake kind of balanced, and it does not spike your carbohydrates up too much. The other thing that I would like to tell you is, it is always better to choose to buy an Indian whey protein product over another country's whey protein product. First, because of the first reason that we are Indians and we would like to buy our own protein, and in no way is our proteins lesser in standards than them. Okay, people market saying that made in US and all that. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Okay, why would you want to buy something that's made in US? Think about it. And the second thing is, the FSSAI standards are way better than the FDA standards. Okay, so for example, a company like Daki claims to have 27 grams of protein. They are more likely to have 27 grams of protein than another foreign country because their restriction and their standards are much higher than them. So even though for marketing sake, people might say buy, it's made in US and all that, it's always better to buy Indian products. Firstly, because Indians, and second thing is because our regulation standards are way better than them. So try sticking to an Indian product, and my guess is Daki. I've worked with them for a long time. They're really good, and they claim what they are, and you can see that when you buy the products. So again, if you want to buy Daki products, you can go to www.daki.com, and you can go to shop.daki.com. I'll put all the link down in the description box, and they have a sale going on. If you want to have an additional 10% discount code, make sure you use Team Superfit as a code while checkout, and you'll get an additional discount. Now I'm going to put down all the links to these studies in the description box for you guys to have a look. Please educate yourself, go on this website. There are so many studies that you can understand yourself. Again guys, if you want to make real gains, knowledge is the key and not anything else. Okay, that is what is going to give you the upper hand over a lot of people, and if you don't have knowledge, you will stagnate yourself down the lane somewhere. In the beginning, everybody can make gains, but as you progress, you need to understand things for what it is. Thanks a lot for watching. If you guys want my online coaching, make sure you send me an email at gothamansuperfit@gmail.com, and I do have a website also. I'll be putting the website in the link in the description box and also putting it here. Follow me on Instagram. I give a lot of information also on Instagram, and subscribe guys, subscribe, help this channel grow. Thanks a lot, and also show love to Daki. They have reinvented all these products. It's all super cool right now. So make sure you check out the website, and I'll see you all on the next video.